The Honourable Society of Cymmrodorion, often called simply the Cymmrodorion, is a London-based Welsh learned society, with membership open to all. It was first established in 1751 as a social, cultural, literary and philanthropic institution. It fell into abeyance between 1787 and 1820, and again between 1843 and 1873. In its second and third incarnations, its interests have been predominantly cultural and antiquarian. The present society claims continuity from that founded in 1751. However, the three successive societies have in fact been slightly different in character and aims. The society continues to be based in London, but it now draws two-thirds of its membership from Wales. History. The society was founded by the brothers Lewis and Richard Morris, natives of Anglesey. The name, coined by Lewis Morris, was a form of the Welsh Cymmrodorion, in reference to the place of the Welsh's heirs to the ancient Britons. Several factors combined to prompt the foundation of the new society. One may have been Lewis Morris's disappointment at his failure to be elected a Fellow of the Royal Society. More important was a desire to support the Welsh charity school, established in 1716 under the auspices of another London Welsh society, the Honourable and Loyal Society of Antient Britons. By the 1740s the Antient Britons had become somewhat moribund, and the new Society of Cymmrodorion was intended in part to supplement its efforts. It was also to raise funds to relieve impoverished Welsh people in London. The Society's primary object, however, was to be a hub of social activity for the Welsh in London, and a focus of Welsh culture. Regular meetings were held on the first Wednesday of each month, when papers were read on a variety of literary and learned topics. Richard Morris served as the Society's first leader. On his death in 1779, the Society offered a silver medal for the best elegy on its late president, a competition which can be seen as a forerunner of the National Eisteddfod of Wales. Sir Watkin Lewis succeeded Morris as Leaworth, and served until the first Society's demise in 1787. The Society had also a Penleaworth. This office was held by William Vaughan of Corsaigeadle until shortly before his death in 1775, and then by Sir Watkin Williams Wynne, 4th Baronet, of Winstay. In the second half of the 18th century, the Welsh Charity School was run jointly by the Antient Britons and the Cymmrodorion. The offices of the Cymmrodorion used the school building on Clerkenwell Green as the business address, sometimes held meetings there, and used one of its rooms as a library. The library was intended to hold a copy of every book that hath ever been printed in the Antient British language, as well as manuscripts. It was, in other words, regarded as a prototype National Library of Wales. A regular and important activity in the Society's calendar was the annual St. David's Day dinner, held to raise funds to support the school. The Cymmrodorion helped to fund a case in ecclesiastical law in which the church wardens and parishioners of a Welsh-speaking benefice in Anglesey challenged the appointment to the benefice of a monoglot English priest who was unable to minister in Welsh. In 1766, John Egerton, Bishop of Bangor, appointed an elderly English priest, Dr. Thomas Bowles, to the parish of St. Buno, Tredraeth and chapelry of St. Gwyvan, Llan. The Court of Arches heard evidence in the case in May 1770 but did not hear the prosecution and defense arguments until January 1773. Judging the case, the Dean of Arches, George Hay, agreed with the defense that the prosecution would have to prove Bowles was totally incapable of speaking any Welsh at all, and even if they did so, Bowles had lawfully been granted the ecclesiastical freehold and therefore could not be deprived of it. However, he also agreed with the prosecution that only clergy who could speak Welsh should be appointed to Welsh-speaking parishes. Therefore, although Hay let Bowles stay in post, the case established the principle that clergy being considered for Welsh-speaking parishes should be examined in the knowledge of Welsh, and only those proficient in the language should be inducted to them. Richard Morris died in 1779 and the society fell into abeyance in 1787. In a symbolic gesture, its presidential chair was handed over to the Gwynydigion Society. However, the charity school, which in 1772 had moved to new premises in Gray's Inn Lane, continued to flourish. The Society's revival in 1820 was linked to attempts in Wales to establish a national Eisteddfod under the auspices of 4 provincial Cambrian societies, and the perceived need for a central organization to oversee their activities. Its formal title was therefore the Cymmrodorion Society of the Metropolitan Cambrian Institution. Those active in the revival included John Jenkins, Walter Davies, W. J. Rees and Richard Edmonds. The Society's presidents included Sir Watkin Williams Wynne, 5th Baronet and the 2nd Earl of Powys. Others officers included John Parry as Registrar of Music, Henry Davies as Librarian, and John Jones as Welsh Correspondent. The Society published Welsh texts, awarded medals, and otherwise supported Welsh culture. Tensions and differences of opinion developed, however, between the Cymmrodorion Society and the 4 Cambrian societies, over the financial relationships, over principles of Welsh spelling, and over whether the Eisteddfodau should be predominantly literary or musical events. The Society seems to have been wound up in 1843. The Third Society, 1873 present. The Society was revived for a second time in 1873, on the initiative of, among others, Hugh Owen, Henry Brinley Richards, and John Griffith. Robert Jones of Rotherhithe subsequently also became a leading figure in its activities, following in what was now a family tradition. Sir Watkin Williams Wynne, 6th Baronet, was made the first president. The Society was prominent in the successful establishment of an annual national Eisteddfod of Wales, beginning in 1861, and took part in discussions that led to the establishment of University College Wales, Aberystwyth in 1872, and the National Museum and National Library of Wales in 1907. It published Y Bywgraffiad y Cymraeg in 1953, and its English-language counterpart, the Dictionary of Welsh Biography in 1959, as well as several supplements. Activities. The Society has its own publications, and holds lectures, all of which concern the native culture, language and literature of the Welsh. It formerly published the journal Y Cymmrodor, and a record series. Its present journal is the Transactions of the Honourable Society of Cymmrodorion, which has been published regularly since 1897, and it also publishes other occasional volumes relating to historical sources. The journals are being digitized by the Welsh Journals Online project at the National Library of Wales. The Society continues to be London-based, but it also holds a number of meetings in Wales. A special lecture in Welsh is held each year at the National Eisteddfod of Wales, known as the St. H. Parry Williams Memorial Lecture, after the poet, author and academic who died in 1975, reflecting the changing role of the Cymmrodorion. The first society's motto was Undeb abroad Gach, but that of the second and third societies has been Cared do eth Ierencilion. The society has always been notably non-denominational and apolitical, which means it has had more in common with its counterparts in Scotland than with those in Ireland. Address. The Society's postal address is Cymmrodorion, P.O. Box 55178, London N122AY. Bibliography. Ellis, Peter Beresford. Kelton-Saxon. The Struggle for Britain AD 410 to 937. London, Constable and Amp Co. pp. 241 to 242. ISBN 009-473260-4. Jenkins, R.T., Ramage, Helen M. A History of the Honourable Society of Cymmrodorion and of the Gwynedigion and Cymrodorion Societies. Y. Cymmrodor, 50. London, Honourable Society of Cymmrodorion. Jones, Emrys, ed. The Welsh in London, 1500 to 2000. Cardiff, University of Wales Press, pp. 69 to 74. ISBN 0708317103.